In this episode, a mysterious health-giving place near Almaty that is almost unknown to people. A couple of hours drive from Almaty, there is a place well hidden from human eyes. They say there are sources of healing water in which snakes live. Allegedly, you can see how they float around a person in water. Even those who fear these reptiles believe that this is a great luck to find them there. And this is not the only miracle attributed to this mysterious place. There's very little information on the internet about these sources and the miracles associated with the lands around them. Of course, the crew of the Time Puzzle went in search of an amazing place. Why do people want to see snakes? What can the appearance of these dangerous creatures foreshadow? This pool has a host snakes with crowns, yellow-headed snakes with crowns. Not everyone sees them, only those who came to be healed with pure intentions. Children's laughter among the rocks. Mystery or fiction? There's a cradle there. If a good person is walking, he hears the voice of a small child. A child babbles. Babble is not heard by everyone, only selectively. Miraculous Mosque. How did a small cave become a savior of human lives? People pray here, make wishes. They say that the dreams come true here. They'll climb in there, they'll climb over the stairs where the stones are, and there's such a big stone hanging and such a pebble there's holding this big stone. Amazing healing stories, myths, and legends against historical facts. Watch it now.
В Казахстане множество так называемых святых мест.
There are many so-called holy places in Kazakhstan. One of them is located in the Jambal region near the village of Bezmoynak. We'll go there today. My name is Andrei Slozhin, and you're watching the Time Puzzle. The most famous places of power on Earth are Stonehenge, the Egyptian pyramids of Giza, Eastern Island, Merlin stones in France, and many others. However, these famous objects of pilgrimage, one way or another, are of man-made origin. Today we will talk about an amazing place that appeared without human intervention. In Kazakhstan, there are many such places. This is the sacred tree Kiali Agash, and the Konar Aulia cave near Semey, and the Jibek gap in Turkestan region, as well as the Borovoy megaliths. Rye lakes near the village of Matai. You can list for a long time, however, there is an amazing place that you will not find on any of the existing maps. In total, about 130 kilometers from Almaty, there is a place that has given hope to hundreds of people. It is called Arasan-Korasan. A lot of people come from the CIS countries such as Russia, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan. Learning about this area, they come in the hope of healing, especially a lot of people come in the summer in July and August. There are up to 100 people. How to find out if there is a result or not? One of those who was healed put up a yurt, a canteen, and so on. Currently, there are all conditions for visitors there. Not to say that it is all-inclusive, but there are all necessary items. In the summer, there are a lot of people from the north, south, Russia. They often come to treat kidneys, heart, skin diseases. Khalida Iskakova, in the process of her research, decided to make this place accessible to all comers. However, everything is not so simple. One of the reasons that this place has not become an object of mass pilgrimage is its inaccessibility. You cannot drive to the source by car or any other form of transport. In addition, it is also not easy to find this place without a guide. After driving 10 kilometers south of the village of Bezmoynak, you will have to leave the car. Further, travelers have to walk several kilometers on a very narrow mountain trail. which then abruptly descends, then goes up for a steep climb. What really attracts them to this gorge? And what is the secret of the mysterious place of pilgrimage? We asked the traveler we met all those questions.
Молятся здесь, желания загадывают здесь. Вот говорят, что
People
здесь
pray
очень
here, make
сбывается.
wishes. They say that the dreams come true here. They'll climb in there, they'll climb over the stairs where the stones are, and there's such a big stone hanging and such a pebble there's holding this big stone. If you get there, see for yourself, and they say that they go there and make wishes, and it comes true. Most people come here every year. I came here for the second time, so I don't know everything specifically.
Дорога сюда у меня
It took me about an hour to get here. These are constant descents and ascents. In addition, our film crew fell into heavy rain 3 times, but this does not stop us, and we will go there further and higher.
выше.
This place is full of legends. The most common one tells of 2 brothers whose names were Arasan and Korasan. Arasan was a hunter, a well-aimed shooter, bravely fought with the Jungars. But when the invaders, having numerical superiority, began to win, Arasan brought his fellow countrymen to these places to hide them. And he hid people in these mountains, rocks, and caves. The younger brother, Korasan, who also loved his native land as an elder one, but was completely unlike him. He was a medicine man and a mullah. He had a strong and bright spirit. They say that when he read the verses, the water in the river turned back. Arriving here too, Korasan treated the wounded with herbs, clean springs, and healing mud. These legends have been passed from mouth to mouth for a very long time, but we could not find any mention of the brothers Arasan and Korasan in any historical source or ancient chronicles. As for the etymology of the word Arasan in Kazakh and other Turkic languages, it means mineral warm spring. Understanding the meaning of the word Korasan is more difficult. Some argue that this is the usual pun of Arasan-Korasan, but here there are all the signs of a cult place. Therefore, most likely the word Khorasan was added from the Persian or Sogdian language and means "where did the sun come from?" If you ask why is it called that, because there are 2 mosques in the village. As evidence of this, it is located at a height of 2 meters. Some sources say that religious brothers read prayers there and carried out their religious customs, and in other information, the name Arasan is associated with healing water. All healing places are called Arasan. For example, there is Kapal Arasan, Alma Arasan. So is the name of our area, Arasan. If Arasan was close to the healing area, then Khorasan was a winter site, and that's how we ended up with the name Arasan-Korasan. Jamanti, a small mountain river. Glacial water rushes from south to north at a frantic speed. Enormous willows, wild apple trees, sprawling bushes grow along its shores. In some places you can see reeds. In addition, herbs that are listed in the Red Book grow in this area. Shreds of white fabric are tied on the branches of a shrub along the way. The ancient Turks called them chalama or aktik. This custom has been preserved since Tigrinism was practiced here. People believe that the spirits of their ancestors, Arwas, live in these sacred places, and by tying the fabric, you can establish an invisible connection with them. Sometimes this action is called a small victim. In modern times, usually behind every flap lies some kind of desire or request of a person. The first thing that travelers see when they arrive at the holy place is the buildings erected by people who are grateful to the local spirits for the fulfillment of their dreams. Once a yurt was installed here, and then the construction of a house began. Stones taken from the river were used for the foundation, and the rest of the building materials were brought from the village. More than 50 people participated in the construction. Crockery and other utensils are often brought by visitors, leaving other wanderers to use. Coming up next, What role did the cave play in the fate of the locals, and what mystical signs see the pilgrims staying here for the night? According to tradition, before performing the rituals from the road, you need to sit down at the dastarkhan, refresh yourself, and drink tea. Women should not be here with their heads uncovered. My name is Yerozhepova Rosa Beskampirovna. I came from the distant village of Kordai. I have a close friend, Bakutgul. From her I learned about this holy place, Arasan-Korasan, and so I'm here. I came here last year, and then this year, so this is the second time. It is such a holy place, healing. I like everything here, holy place. I feel great. To all who believe, I tell them to come and see. This place is sacred. It has healing properties. I believe it does. There is one more legend about this place. According to it, a holy man named Arasan, hiding from his persecutors, found refuge here and blessed this area for his salvation. Since then, water in the springs has healing properties. They say that each of them saves from a certain ailment. Water from one spring is healing from diseases of the stomach, from another from diseases of the kidneys, another one is good for the heart and liver. Each spring has different water temperature and taste. About 20 years ago, scientists from Russia took water from springs for analysis. Unfortunately, the results were not preserved. However, as local people say, Russian scientists confirmed the presence of useful substances in water. There are 3 springs on Arasan-Korasan. Spring for the kidneys, heart, and stomach. We took samples from these springs and sent to a laboratory in Almaty for examinations. Since before that they were investigated, we knew that they help in the treatment of diseases of the nervous system, kidneys, and skin diseases. Despite this, we sent 3 samples again. Prior to this, it was said that the composition of the water in these 3 flasks was the same. But as a result of the examination, it turned out that the composition of the flasks was completely different, and there are substances useful for human health. Bicarbonate, sulfate, sodium, such mineral substances that are very useful for human health and in everyday life. We learned about this as a result of examination in the laboratory. According to scientific data, mineral springs located in the northwestern part of Mount Besmoynak at an altitude of 1,620 meters above sea level are confined to tectonic faults that cut through the Jamanti River Valley. The water temperature here ranges from 18 to 27 degrees Celsius. It contains sulfate, bicarbonate, calcium, sodium compounds. It also contains orthosilicic acid. Modern medicine knows very well how well these minerals have beneficial effects on the musculoskeletal system. According to experts, it can have a positive effect on the body during the bathing process if the patient undergoes a long course of treatment and at a dosage carefully calculated by pharmacists, and no other way. This opinion gives cause for reflection. However, there are more and more people who believe in the healing power of this place every year. How can this be explained? We asked psychologist Natalia Sanarova about it. When something hurts, we probably don't care what to do. We use any methods to get out of this. We believe in it. This is probably the main motivator. There are actually powerful places, totally no doubts. For example, some springs, even if you physically prove all this, there will be some kind of air of a certain quality. People are there, their lungs are working, some hormones, endorphins, joy are being produced. The level of our entire system rises. We are having fun. Before visiting the springs, it is necessary to conduct a washing procedure. For those who do this for the first time, there are detailed instructions here, or more experienced pilgrims will help with advice. It is customary to enter the territory of springs from the right foot, and also you should enter the water like this. It is necessary to get hydrotherapy freed from clothes and all accessories, as they say, in the form in which the person was created. Naturally, for ethical reasons, we asked for permission to take a bath in the clothes for shooting. After consulting experienced pilgrims, gave us the go-ahead. The method of treating joints is also worth a separate mentioning. Right next to the healing water sources, there is a place with black mud. Pilgrims say that this substance cures osteochondrosis and other joint problems as well as rejuvenates the skin. They say that those who suffer from severe pain feel relief even while swimming. The pilgrim Bakitgul Amirova, whom we met at the springs, agrees with this.
Бұған келетін адамдар өзі аян береді, түс көреді. Сонымен жақсы жерге кетсе,
People who are going to come here have dreams. In a dream, they are given signs. In this way, they come, heal, and recover. Arasan-Korasan were brothers. I have not seen them, but they were saints. They died.
олар қайтыс болыпты. Сонымен екеуі қорғандары бар екен. Қорғандары ана жерде жатыр екен. Содан кейін жаңа менің де ауырсам балам бар еді, оны да келдім.
There is their burial ground. It is there. I have a sick child. I brought him too. He has epilepsy. He felt a little better. Here, in this place, he takes medicine. Our son's place is holy. Here, you can also relax. Another spring is a little further from the encampment. The water in it cleanses and treats diseases of the head and eyes. There are 7 springs in the gorge. 5 of them are near the encampment and 2 are higher. Climbing the riverbed, you can see small waterfalls where you can just swim on a hot day. It is known for certain that water with healing properties is mentioned in the folklore of different peoples. For example, in Russian folk tales, heroes were often saved by the so-called living water. One of the tales of the famous Brothers Grimm bears the same name. In French folk tales, dead and living water had such power that in order to revive or kill the hero, it was enough to pour only a few drops on him. They say that water has a host, cattle have a patron, and so on. Similarly, there is a pool near our holy spring. People with skin diseases bathe there. Nearby, there is mud and clean water. This pool has a host, snakes with crowns, yellow-headed snakes with crowns. Not everyone sees them. Only those who came to be healed with pure intentions. 1 in 100, not everyone can see them. If you saw a snake with a crown, then the spring will heal you. For hundreds of years, the snake in different cultures has been a symbol of eternal life and immortality. Due to the fact that the reptile sheds skin annually, it is renewed and rejuvenated. Therefore, the ancients considered it an eternally living creature. The snake was an attribute of many saints. For example, a symbol of Saint Benedict, a snake with a bowl of poison. Also widely known was the snake-encircled staff of the ancient Greek god of medicine, Asclepius, who became a symbol of healers. There are suggestions that the snake was placed on the emblem of medicine in ancient Babylon, more than 4,000 years ago. Then it was not accompanied by any additional items. The modern version of the symbol of medicine, a bowl with a snake, appeared in Europe thanks to the scientist and doctor Paracelsus in the 15th century. The true meaning of the generally accepted medical emblem remains controversial. So, according to one version, it personifies the healing properties of snake venom. There is also no definite answer about snakes appearing in the healing spring of the Bezmoy Gorge. A person wants to believe. It is important for him to get some sign. The subconscious mind will give him this sign. I'm more inclined to believe in such a theory that the subconscious mind will give him a certain metaphorical image because the subconscious communicates with us by metaphors. Someone says that only a person with a pure heart and kind thoughts can see them. Others claim that they come only to people with serious illnesses, thereby marking a speedy cure. I wanted to tell you there is a water here. If a good person bathes, a snake comes out. Water takes away the disease. And when there is a bad person, snakes do not go out. The people here are watching. It's true. Someone may not believe it, but it's true. According to other versions, the color of the snake which the pilgrims saw plays an important role. Kuanish Sakpantaev Shirakshi, the caretaker of this place, told us in detail about this.
Жылан ол енді қасиетті жылан деп жатырық қой.
This is the holy snake. It is not shown to everyone. Not everyone can see it. It can be in the water, on the road, differently. Those who saw the snake are healed on their diseases. Some become successful. It's not the same for everybody. Kazakhs believe in signs, therefore they always see in different ways. And this does not always happen. Someone sees a camel. Someone can see something else. Kuanish is a fourth-generation Shirakshi. His family considers the holy brothers Arasan and Korasan to be distant ancestors. He learned to keep order in the gorge, to tell about the history and local legends from his father and grandfather.
Одан бері 4 ата шырақшылық еткен маған дейін. Мен алдында
Before me, 4 generations of my grandfathers worked as a watchman. Before me, father Joly, before him, grandfather Yerjan, before him, grandfather Sakpantaev.
Содан бері поколение атадан балаға келе жатыр. Енді әкеміздің өзі 19 жыл шырақшылық еткен. Мен естілгелі атам.
Grandfather Sakpantaev began this. And since then, it has been passed down from generation to generation. My father worked as Shirakshi for 19 years. I had not seen grandfather Sakpantaev, but I saw grandfather Yerjan. 3 years ago, my father Joly suddenly died. Although I'm young, I began to do the work of Shirakshi. Many different people come from different places, so I go there and meet everyone. Kuanish says to pilgrims that there is a special aura. The sick leave this place healthy and the unfortunate find the purpose of their life. Every day, a young Shirakshi overcomes this difficult path on foot. He lives in the village of Besmoynak with his family. Our village, Besmoynak, is located at the foot of Jetijol mountain. 2 rivers flow in the village from the side of the mountain, Besmoynak and Bugemuiz. There are 2 wonderful rivers in world history, the Tiger and the Euphrates. In the same way, our 2 rivers, Besmoynak and Bugemuiz, flow down from the mountains. This village is old. In the past, it was called Sergeyevka. It arose during the Stolypin reform, where the Tsarist government allocated back soil to irrigated lands to immigrants from Russia and Ukraine. Several Russian families came here. The most initiative had become the head of the village, Sergei Inin. By the name of this person, they called the village Sergeyevka.
Жергілікті халық әрине ол кезде көшіп-қонып жүрген, тұрақтаған жоқ.
The local population roamed from place to place, and these few Russian families led a sedentary lifestyle, engaged in agriculture, gardening, and vegetable garden. And in the summer, the local people were in Jailao, and in the winter, in the wintering place. In 1930, there was a famine. Many people died, went through many difficulties. Then collectivization began. To explain and introduce the local people to this process, Alibi Jangeldin came to the village. He held meetings with the people, explained the essence of collectivization. Jangeldin called on the people to switch to sedentary lifestyle, carried out great organizational work. After his efforts began to bear fruit, the village was named after him. Only in the years of independence, the owl returned to the original name. True, its ancient version, Bugemuiz Besmoynak, was too long, so they chose shorter Besmoynak. However, people from all over Kazakhstan and neighboring countries are not attracted here by a historical excursion. Surprisingly, many travelers seeking to get here initially do not know anything about healing sources. Their main goal is a completely different miracle of nature. Coming up next, how did the Miraculous Mosque appear and whose cry do pilgrims hear in the mountains? In order to get to the next important point of travel, you need to cross a wooden bridge and climb a rather steep path up to the rocks. There is an unusual cave, which locals call a natural mosque. The next thing pilgrims and tourists face is the steep staircase. Let's see where this fragile structure leads. To get into it, you need to climb the stairs, about 4 meters high, and then another as much on a vertical rock, but with the help of ropes. The mosque is a recess in the rock in the distant past covered with huge stone blocks, about 1.5 meters in length and 2 in width. 7 people can easily fit here, and it would be comfortable for 2 to sleep. The grotto is protected by stones from all sides. If you look forward and down, a beautiful view of the gorge will open in front of you, as if through a window. The roof of the mosque is a huge boulder. According to legend, it was here that the brothers Arasan and Korasan were hiding, saving their people from the Jungar warriors. Nature itself helped them hide in this gorge. There was a collapse and huge stones overwhelmed the cave, making it invisible to human eyes, leaving only a small space so that you could get out of it.
Поднявшись по лестнице, перед путниками встанет еще одна проблема. Пролезть.
Climbing the stairs, the travelers will face another problem to climb between these 2 sheer walls of rock and stone that is stuck between them. I cannot get through it, but if you stand here at this place, then from here you can see that there is some kind of platform. Apparently they used to pray here.
Помог. Видимо, раньше там молились.
A similar legend is told by local historians about the Jibek Gap, which is located 100 kilometers from the city of Shymkent. According to a legend, during the Jungar invasion, driven out by the enemies, who were exceeding in number, our people were able to hide in a huge cave and outwit the invaders while remaining unharmed.
Осы Арасанда жерден биіктігі 2 метр жерде.
There is a legend that during the Jungar attack, one family was completely saved by hiding in this mosque. From the side, nothing is visible, just 2 stones. And at a close range, you can see a special mosque, to which you climb specifically by stairs, passing through a mountain gorge. The story dates back to the Jungarian battles.
Биіктер сатыдан шығып, сатын арғатай тастың қуысынан өтіп, сондай керемет недеу жасаған ерекше бір мешіт. Бұл жаңағы жоңғар шапқыншылығы кезінде оқиға.
Visitors to this natural mosque claim that stones are taken away from the one who was able to squeeze through and get to the very top. However, this attraction is not for many the main purpose of the campaign.
Пещера, которую вы видели ранее,
The cave that you saw earlier is just below this rock. Above is another sacred place for pilgrims, but if you are skeptical of such healing places or springs, you should come here only for the sake of these views. Breathe clean air, climb to the top and get a boost of energy and strength. After all, the loads that you experience are much stronger and more powerful than in gyms. Let's go higher.
нагрузки, которые вы испытываете, они гораздо сильнее и мощнее, чем в спортзалах. Пойдемте выше.
Төртбұрышты жайпақ тас бар ол жерде байқасаңыздар. Ол жерде пайғамбарымыз.
There is a wide square stone. It is said that the prophet read the prayer there. This is evidenced by a trace from his knees and forehead on a stone. This, of course, is a legend, but it is impossible not to believe, whoever it was, the prophet or anyone else. He was a man of enormous proportions, broad-shouldered, because the marks from his knees and forehead show that he's such a big man. The stone is still there, and traces from the knees and forehead are also stored. If you look closely, you can see them. Travelers can see this huge stone at the very beginning of the trail, where they have to leave vehicles. And for those who know, it is a guide on the way to the holy place. You have to climb to it almost on a steep rock. It is noteworthy that only women rise most often further. The fact is that almost at the very top of the mountain there is a wooden cradle, at which they pray in order to get a continuation of the clan.
Чуть выше по склону стоит детская.
A little cradle stands a little higher on the slope. In Kazakh, it is called besik. Women who unfortunately cannot have children come here to this place. They believe that having prayed here, they will have a baby.
Появится ребенок.
Бұл шипалы бұлақ.
And women come to this cradle and make their wishes, pray. Then after they receive healing, they drink water, spend the night at the spring. Many of them become pregnant afterwards. We have such people in the village. Naturally, this bisek was brought here by people and has nothing to do with the miracle of nature. However, both the residents of the village of Besmoynak and the pilgrims tell many stories about how couples unable to have children for years, having gone through many medical institutions, finally became parents after visiting this place. It is curious that a few years ago it was the village of Besmoynak that became the champion among similar villages in Kazakhstan in the number of mothers having many children. In 2015, 45 were registered here. The same year, as a sign of respect for these special women, the villagers erected the monument Anaga Tagzeb, that is, Adoration of the Mother. The monument is an image of a woman with a baby in her arms and marble tablets with the names of the mother's heroines. It is noteworthy that the youngest of them at that time was only 32 years old and the eldest 88 years old. She raised 12 children, 40 grandchildren, as many great-grandchildren. Already in 2017, 50 of the 200 Besmoynak families were multi-child. We don't know for sure if it is connected with the fact that the settlement is adjacent to a holy place that grant fertility. It is almost impossible to prove. However, local residents do not question this.
Бана жерде бесік бар, оған егер жақсы адам барса, жаңағы кішкентай баланың дауысы естіледі.
There is a cradle there. If a good person is walking, he hears the voice of a small child. A child babbles. Babble is not heard by everyone, only selectively. There's also a snake with a crown. A red snake lies on that stone. It doesn't show itself to everyone. Red. Only a few people see it. Only good people. But it does not go to bad people. There are such snakes. Many people say that you can hear crying or laughing a child on this rock. It can be assumed that the sound is the wind playing in the stones, or there are birds whose singing resembles children's voices. A good sign for those who come here with their cherished desire can be a meeting with a camel.
Тауда да жаңа ботал емген жүреді дейді, жаңа сіз айтқандай.
And in the mountains, they say a camel walks with a colt. If you see, although this is unlikely, or hear their voices, then women who cannot become pregnant will receive help. So says the legend. Our film crew did not meet camels in these mountains. And in the nearest village, we saw only horses, cows, goats, and rams. However, the pilgrims, keeping hope for the help of the spirits in a holy place, are waiting for any sign indicating that their dream will come true. In order to bring the program into the subconscious, you must turn off the analytical mind. And so, when a person believes or he comes to a holy place, he has this part of the brain disconnected and the subconscious mind receives information. The subconscious mind understands this program, makes it as a guide to action. Adherents of the classical model of psychology would consider this as a manifestation of apophenia. After all, when a woman is so passionately desirous of having a child in the family that she overcomes such a difficult path, any kind of sign is important to her. Apophenia is a type of experience caused by the ability to see the relationship in random or meaningless events. This term was introduced in 1958 by the German neuropsychologist Klaus Conrad based on the desire of people to see the meaning in coincidences. For example, in antiquity, and in some places even now, shamans perform ritual dances. Sometimes it starts to rain at this time. People sincerely believe that it started to rain because the shaman did some manipulation. The fact that this does not happen every time is not taken into account. Another phenomenon close to apophenia is pareidolia. This is the formation of illusory images of perception, the basis for which are real objects. A similar effect is used by the famous Rorschach ink test. This phenomenon explains the cases when people see faces or images of animals in the relief of rocks or roughness of trees, as a result of which legends and myths are also often born. I would not call it hallucinations, although in fact it is customary to say that these are hallucinations. Perhaps this really works on some levels that are still inexplicable to the human mind. It has even been proven that there is a moment that the center responsible for hallucinations does not work while the person continues to see certain specific fragments. To the right of the Besig, there's also a small cave. Here, according to popular beliefs, the holy elders also retired for prayer. On the ceiling, you can see the nests of swallows. In many world cultures, the nest with a swallow under the roof of the house is a good sign and indicates that positive energy reigns in this place. There is no damage to the house, and in general, it is definitely suitable for people to live.
негізі біздің Арасан туралы деректер бұған дейін де шыққан екен.
In theory, there was information about Arasan before that. For example, during the Jungar battles, wounded warriors came to the spring for healing. Information about this was written in the book of Jibek Tawasaruli. Tukiyanan Ozimidein. It talks about how warriors were treated at the spring. And there are inscriptions on the stones indicating the existence of this place in the Bronze Age. At that time, the spring was called the Alim River. The book Tukiyanan Ozimiden specifically states that the soldiers went to the Alim River to be healed. Therefore, I believe that the story of the spring dates back to ancient times. In the 17th, 19th centuries, the territory west of Almaty was a theater of operations for the Kazakh-Jungar War. The deep gorges of the Besmoynak and Zhamanti rivers were used as shelters for the local population and fragments of broken armies. But these are far from the first historical events in this area. And there are inscriptions on the stones indicating the existence of this place in the Bronze Age. Other information was found. I don't know if they knew at that time that the spring had healing properties or not. Our film crew went in search of petroglyphs in the vicinity of the Besmoyna Gorge, but unfortunately we could not find them. Before me, there were several expeditions. Historical expeditions named after Alke Margulan in our mountains. In theory, our mountains are a continuation of the Ili Alatau Mountains, the Jetijol Ridge, and the source Arasan comes from the tectonic sources flowing along the Zhamanta River. Before this, several expeditions took place. The proof of this is the Kazakh Soviet Encyclopedia of 1972. Also, the pilgrims who stayed in these places for the night tell that on the top of one of the rocks, in the moonlight, you can see the image of a man playing the dombra. They say that a drawing of considerable size in the dark emits green light, which resembles the glow of phosphorus. But nobody still managed to capture it in a photo or video. Tone rises, mood rises, people are full of energy. After the water in general, we bathed and everyone had such vigor and climbed into the mountains and went back down, and all right, we feel great. I think that it is mainly because of fresh air, probably mountains, all this combined. Even being skeptics, our film crew felt the special energy of the place. Majestic mountain landscapes, changeable weather, special air, all this somehow imperceptibly tuned us in a special way. Perhaps people notice that such emotional splashes in one place or another and assign this place the significance of a place of power. In recent years, the film crew of the Time Puzzle has visited many sacred places in our country. And although Arasan-Korasan is inferior to many in the number of pilgrims, the beauty of the local nature rightfully puts this place on par with other sacred pearls of Kazakhstan. Most likely, hundreds of years ago, a person could not pass by the picturesque Besmoyna Gorge. Mountains, a stormy river, trees, wind ranging along the shore sink into the soul of a traveler. It is known that the ancient man had a special relationship with nature because he himself was a part of it. Perhaps in ancient times, man came here to bow to his gods and nature. In the meantime, this gorge can be called one of the most mysterious places in Жетысу.
Я провел вместе Arasan-Korasan практически целый день. Мистики мне
I spent almost the whole day at Arasan-Korasan. I could not find mystics here, but I met beautiful, sincere people, breathed the clear mountain air, and admired these beautiful landscapes. You should come here at least once. My name is Andrei Slozhin. You watched The Time Puzzle. See you.